Update your sports news. A well-balanced diet contributes to the performance of an athlete in more ways than one. Nutrition, like training, it is very important to a life of a professional athlete. Despite the popularity of soccer, there have been a couple of studies that suggest that nutrition intake when it comes to soccer players is inadequate. This implies that there is a gap in the development and implementation of nutrition education programs, and most athletes of black origin turn professional at the age of 20 to 21 and are far behind on their nutritional intake when compared to their counterparts. From other democratic groups to talk to us about this, we are joined, of course, in the studio by partner of a sports nutrition Conciege service, Thokozani Mbambo. Mr. Mbambo, good morning and welcome to AM News.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the importance of nutrition in professional athletes.
Nutrition is a key component in the professional footballer or professional athlete. So, for an example, you will look at the conditioning. It will be coupled with the fitness. So, if, for an example, a player is malnutrition, for an example, you need your nutrition. Let me say, for a person to go and be productive in the game and to sustain himself, he needs to have adequate amount of carb before he goes into the training or even the game itself. So with inadequate intake of nutrition, that particular player will not necessarily give the required performance for like the 90 minutes if you look at soccer. If you look at the runners, for example, some of them will not finish their marathons and stuff like that. So the space that we're in is a space where we're saying, let's just have a discussion.
Yeah.
Let us have a discussion, because what we've picked up in the space is that if you look at space in people in the rugby, for example, the people in the rugby, we found out that the regime that those guys go through in terms of not just training or fitness, but also in terms of the regime that has to talk to the recovery program that they undergo. Some of the physiotherapists of my network refer to the sport of rugby, for example, as a collision sport as opposed to a contact sport. So that means that as the body itself, it needs adequate nutrition in order for it to recover promptly, so that that particular player will be ready for the next match and be able to perform at the required rate.
Now let's talk about the teams. How serious are they taking this issue of nutrition? Be it rugby, be it football.
Yeah. Look, I think currently there has been adequate funding from especially your big teams that are in the Premier Soccer League. And as such, they've been able to afford themselves very well-resourced, whether it is nutrition or recovery regime. They will have your physiotherapists, in-house physiotherapists. They will have their own doctors, team doctors. And some of them will go to an extent of dietitians, but not all of them are looking into that. Now, if you take some of our brothers, black brothers, you will know most of our guys are not coming from opulent backgrounds.
Yeah.
And as a result, if you look at how I look at my kids personally, that I'm already having them on supplements and stuff like that. We're on proper diet, but I believe that I was still required to give them some additional
So it gives them an edge of sort
when it
comes to competing.
Yeah, so when you compare our players, I will take a player like Sia Sanguine. My heart broke when he retired at the age
because he had to retire early because of injuries.
Exactly.
So would you say now that the whole issue of malnutrition also contributed significantly?
Definitely. Because we of the view, and in the space that we're trying to basically address this issue, we're saying, let us have a discussion. We want to provide the concierge service directly to the players. One, we don't just look at your nutrition. No, we look at everything holistically. We understand that your teams already have regimes in place. Whether you're using it or not, we don't know. But we're coming to you, we're saying, look, this is the program. We understand what are your issues. If we need to bring our dietitian within our network, we bring our dietitian. If we have to bring our physiotherapist, we bring our physiotherapist. And this service is not only open to professional footballers, you know what I mean, like PSL. No, no, no. We're opening it up to some of the upcoming guys as well. We would like to also work with the School of Academies. You know?
In order to make sure that by the time those players qualify to play professionally, nutrition-wise, they're spot on. But let's also now talk about, or share with us some advices and support when it comes to making sure that those players that we're talking about, that 10 professional at the age of 20 plus, still you're able to restore whatever is left, at least, of their careers going forward.
Longevity of a sport career. I think if you were to sit down with any athlete, professional athlete that is, even the ones that are aspiring to be professional athletes, they will lend you an ear because they understand, or even if they don't understand the concept. I must be honest, it has not been in our nature, for example, to be the ones that are taking supplements. So you're basically introducing more like a foreign concept to them, but something that you know will benefit them. And we can put examples in for them and say, if you look at certain players who have actually underwent these nutritional supplements, I mean, so there are teams that have invested significantly on their players because of either the deficient immune system, which they had to basically treat, and currently some of those players are world stars. And if you look at South Africa right now, I don't think that we're exporting as many professional players as we should. Yeah? We have good quality soccer or football players in South Africa.
So, Thokozani, let's just wrap it up quickly. Your contribution in helping athletes explore and even get to the best of their ability when it comes to nutrition, just in 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds, we, as I've indicated, we look at holistically. So you're not only looking at just your diet, but we also have in-house, we have a wellness program. So we also want to look at how you are, because we also believe that it's not only about the physical being that will enable you to be able to perform. You also need to be proper mentally so that you can then achieve the goals that you desire.
So it's a total package.
Total package. And I mean, I've been tired of hearing about our soccer players or athletes not behaving. But nobody has been doing anything about it.
Thokozani, let's still be there for now. Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you very much.
That was the lead partner of the Sports Nutrition Concierge Service, Thokozani Mbambo, of course, talking to us about the importance of nutrition. Now, moving